Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be going back into Showdown to do another team building session with Zamazenta this time. So we just did Zacian, the Sword Dog. Now we got to do Zamazenta, the Shield Dog, which I think is a better variant, in all honesty. It's up a tier, to be honest, just because of a pretty good matchup that it has into some of the other restricteds. But before we even continue, again, just wishing you guys a Happy New Year. It is New Year's Eve, the time that this video goes live. So Happy New Year to all that are watching. And we've had some good growth overall in 2024. We just passed, but we did pass 10,000 subs on the channel, which was like the main trademark of the channel here. So nice to see the channel even past that milestone. So hopefully 2025 will get another milestone moving forward. All right. But that being said, back to this. So Zamazenta, you know, you have a pretty good matchup into something like Terapagos, right? So I think Terapagos will probably be like the next video because this thing has had very, very strong and consistent results overall. The stocks are very high for the Shield Turtle, which means Zamazenta could probably rise in usage because this is doing so well. And, you know, just the fact that you have Wide Guard is important, you know, just, you know, with so much spread moves around in this format, the fact that your Shield Dog can have Wide Guard for your whole team is pretty good. And I would imagine this would be even better in a dual restricted where Zamazenta can not only just click body press, you know, and smash things, but again, provide Wide Guard for your entire team. And then your solo restricted can be more of a damage factor besides that, right? So I think Zamazenta, again, is in a pretty good spot right now. And again, you don't care about Intimidate, like Zacian for that matter, just because again you're just relying on your defenses for your body press stuff, and then if things want to, you know, go Terra Fairy against you, you know, just to be able to resist the body press, this is where your Shield Stab Heavy Slam comes into play. Just again being able to smash those, especially the Terra Fairy types, like another Calyrex Shadow Rider that wants to go for the Fairy, a Raging Bolt, or even a Miraidon that wants to do that. You have this option to you know, be able to kill them, you know, immediately. And then of course this last slot is either Protect. Now from here there is the seldom idea where you can technically forgo the Wide Guard and just go with Iron Defense and just rely on like setup and doing more damage with your Heavy Slam. I have seen these variants, you know, these can do well also, but it just depends on the makeup of your team. For example, I would do that if I was running something like Pelipper, you know, with Zamazenta, which has been done already. Where the Pelipper can be your Wide Guard user, and now that frees up a slot over here, and now you can go for something like Iron Defense and just do it like this. So I think something like this is also like pretty good, you know, just all things considered. But there are other ideas that you can use, you know, with Zamazenta besides Pelipper, right? And then from here, it's just all about how do you want to support the Zam, and, you know, just can you have enough Pokemon to help you match up into some other restricteds, right? And that's really what it's going to come down to. You know, besides that, so you are weak to ground types here, you are weak to fire types, so something like Terra Dragon is also pretty good here, you know, just being able to resist one and be neutral into the other. I have also seen Terra Grass again for the ground weakness, again able to resist that, helps you get around Amoongus because again Amoongus can just Rage Powder and redirect the body press and it resists it, right, because of Amoongus's typing. So I can definitely see that. I think these are like the two best ideas that you can do, you know, either Grass Terra or Dragon Terra, all things considered. But it just depends on you as a player, how you want to build it, right? From here, you know, some common ideas, you can just add Chien Pao along with Entei. I think this is always like a pretty consistent way to start building for Zamazenta teams, you know, just having Chien Pao put pressure and deal tons of damage into something like Landorus, for example, right? So you have to worry about that. So something like either Ice Spinner or Icicle Crash is always going to be good into those Landorus teams, right? And then, you know, you're a Dark type too, so you have your Shadow Rider matchup. The Entei also can help the Zamazenta and as well as the Chien Pao here. This puts pressure on Rillabooms too, for that matter. And, you know, you have the idea for Terra Normal with extreme speed here. So just imagine like what, you know, Choice Banded Dragonite used to do with Chien Pao with the extreme speed spam, but now with the Terra Normal, you can get around the Shadow Rider, Astral Barrage, and then just hit them hard with something like Sacred Fire, and then for the Incineroars, you know, you can just go with Stomping Tantrum here, and, you know, after this, it depends on whether you want to run an item like Citrus Berry, you know, where you can just run this, you know, with Protect, or you can go with the Choice Band set and just go with Stone Edge, another strong rock move here. Just think about Ogerpon, Cornerstone, just having a move that is just strong overall and not having to worry about resist. Stone Edge is a pretty good move. Again, you just have to worry about the accuracy. You do have crit ratio here, but all things for Entei in terms of what the team can give you. You don't care about Intimidate. You can't get faked out. So it's pretty good there. Choice Band, Stomping Tantrum into Incin is also quite strong here. But again, with Zamazenta, you can force the Incin to go Terra Ghost, force a lot of things to go into Terra Ghost, and then the Chien Pao here can just kind of smash them with their dark moves, whether it's something like Sucker Punch or if it's something like Throat Chop there. I think, you can create those pins because you have the pressure from Zamazenta, right? So if you want to go like Fairy or Ghost Terra against the fighting move here, this is where the dark typing comes into play, and this is where the steel move also comes into play here, right? So I think you can always start teams like this. Then you can go with Rillaboom. Okay, I think a lot of these teams are going to have Rillaboom, with Zamazenta. Just, again, being able to change terrain against Miraidon / Indeedee teams, so this way you can click your spam moves, is going to be important. I think that also works well. A lot of teams are just going to start like this. But, if you want to take the team to a different direction, you can also play it a little bit more hyper offensive, where you can just go with something like Tornadus here and add some special attackers onto your team like Raging Bolt and something like Chiyu here. I've seen this just because, again, the Raging Bolt gives you a decent matchup into Kyogre. The Chiyu is also pretty good into both Calorexes, especially if you run like Choice Specs here. So you don't have to worry about Scarf anymore. You can just go Specs because you have the Tailwind idea here, and then just pressure with like Heat Waves and Dark Pulses and Snarls and just do that. So I think this is another variant that can do relatively well. And then another one that you can also do is pair Zamazenta with a dark flying type. So I've seen something like Iron Jugulis, and I've also seen the Galarian Moltres. Right, these are other ideas that you can do. I think both are pretty solid in what they're supposed to do. Technically, you can also consider the Roaring Moon idea, but this has to worry about Intimidate, whereas these two don't. So I think I like these two a little bit more. But again, with Iron Jugulis, now you get access to Tailwind and you get access to Snarl, right? Which is great because, again, with Snarl on Zamazenta's side, you get special attack damage reduction. You already have physical attack damage reduction, with your defense Dauntless Shield boost, right? And if you run Iron Defense, you can also, consider that as well. But now you add this with Snarl support and Tailwind, and now Zamazenta can start outspeeding faster threats and start clicking heavy slams. And then just keep mitigating damage, with Snarl. And then Air Slash, again, pretty good into Rillabooms and Urshifus as well. So you have that pressure, with this as well, just because of flying coverage, being pretty good in this type of format where two of the big three, with Incin and Ursh being weak to flying. So I think this also works out well. So you can play towards that if you want to go with that kind of core. But either way, you also still have inherently a Shadow Rider matchup just because you are a Dark type. So Snarl, great into those, great into Kyogre, decent into Terapagos too, just because you can Snarl that thing and stop it, or neutralize those Calm Mind boosts a little bit. But your Zamazenta is just an inherent check into that. So you can play for those end games if you want to, but I think these are just like some common partners. I also like the idea for Landorus here. Again, another flying type. That is a nice little ground weakness pivot into you, right? And this gives you another Miraidon matchup. I like the Scarf idea on this, with just Earth Power and Sandseer Storm. So I think this is also worthwhile to try and run at the same time. But it just depends on how you want to run those things. But these are like the most common cores already that I've shown you, just how you want to partner with Zamazenta. You can also run Flutter Mane on these teams. Again, with the Flutter Mane being a little bit more supportive with Icy Wind and something like Thunder Wave or Taunt, right? I won't put all of them, but well, I will actually, just like these three moves, pick two of them, right? And then the rest can be something like Moonblast and Protect. So I think Flutter Mane is also a decent option to have on Zamazenta teams. But yeah, but things you have to just worry about, again, are the main restricteds and things that Zamazenta, doesn't like. So something like Landorus, that's where the ice coverage comes into play. Some fire type, like Entei, something, or Urshifu surging strike stuff. This is where like fairy types or fairy coverage is going to be good for your team altogether. So these are just some of the things you have to think about in terms of building around Zamazenta. But Wide Guard creates a lot of pins, right? It basically means your Shadow Rider or your Calyrex can't click its best move and has to settle for a not as good single target move, which they do have, but again, anytime where you can limit the amount of damage that can comes out from a restricted, you're in the right ballpark here. So how do we want to, EV the Zamazenta itself before we start getting into cores? I think there's a couple things you can keep in mind, just with this speed tier that it has. So if you want to just simply outspeed the Landorus, I think 169 is all you need, right? You can even push it to 170 if you like, but this is all you really need if you want to outspeed the Landorus, right? Because they hit 168. I think most Zamazentas are just going to go impish. So you can just do something like this where you can like max the HP. You can go to the first bump here in defense and just put one more point there just to get a nice solid even number for the +1 rather than an odd number to make it, a decimal, which you don't want because the decimal will round down after times 1.5. So you make it an even number like this. And then you just round out the bulk this way, right? This is a very easy spread that you can start with Zamazenta. Just max HP, first benchmark in defense, and then outspeed Landorus, right? So I'll also take this time to, once again, advertise the fact that if you don't know what EV bumps are, and you're trying to get better at competitive Pokemon, and you're trying to EV your Pokemon a little bit more than just 252, 252, make sure you comment below asking what are EV bumps. I will reply and respond to you, right? Otherwise, you can also check out our video back in August about EV bumps, which we have also now linked in the video description, and that will be in every single video because we have adjusted our settings. So that came up in the comments in my previous video. I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. We're gonna put that in there. So if you don't know what EV bumps are, make sure you ask and we will respond and answer to you. Otherwise, you can also play this Zamazenta a little bit faster, which is kind of what I like to do because something that's really threatening to Zamazenta is this guy, the Ogerpon Heartflame. And if this guy is just max speed, that's not a fun time, okay? And if it, let's just say Jolly here. So you need like 179, right? So you could just take a little bit off the HP here. In fact, you might even take almost all of it and just go 179 like this. At this point, you're pretty much just max. Let's just go speed creep ideas and just go to 180. And then you have 164 EVs left to play with. Let's just go to about 176 here, just for, Rillaboom terrain recovery. And then after this, you have 96 EVs left. Just dump the rest here into defense. Let's just go like this. And this is all we really need from our Zamazenta. Again, rounding out the bulk in this way, max speed. But this is it. So 200 base stat for our defense for these body presses, and then just max speed, just trying to outspeed those Ogerpon Heartflames that are max speed there. So you always have that pin against them, right? If they think they're faster, they're not. So I think this is like another good starting point with Zamazenta. But if you want more bulk and you want a little bit slower, use the first spread that I gave to you here. All right. But now let's go ahead and let's team build around Zamazenta here. Let's put out some teams that you can consider. We're going to give you 5 teams, okay? As a little New Year's gift, we'll give you 5 teams. So this way you have some ideas or some starting points that you can use to play with Zamazenta. Okay, so for our first build, I think we will start things off with the Chien Pao and Entei idea. So let's put those on the screen here. Okay, and then after this, let's get a Fire, Water, Grass core going. Let's go Rillaboom, like we said earlier, with Grassy Surge, and then let's just go Urshifu here. Let's just keep things pretty standard, just in terms of how we want to start our build here. And then this last slot here, you could do something like Amoongus here, or you can do like another special attacker like Raging Bolt or Flutter Mane. I think we'll go Flutter Mane here, just so that we can get some fairy coverage onto these teams. And then we'll get like some speed control with Icy Wind for that matter. And then booster energy here. So this way we have that speed advantage for us. So this way our Icy Wind can go first. Just in terms of how the team looks, right? So like Chien Pao makes all of these options hit harder. And again, I like this balance idea with Fire, Water, Grass. You have a lot of priority on this team, by the way. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon that have potential priority here. And then your Trick Room matchup is actually going to come from the Urshifu, where it's going to have Substitute with the safety goggles here, right? So this way you can kind of set this up like this, and then, hide behind it by just alternating Substitute and Protects and stall out Trick Room that way. Or you can even do this against Tailwind teams. But I think a sub Ursh is a little bit underrated, especially goggles. I think it should be explored a little bit more, and then just go like, let's just go Stellar here, you know, just as like a general starting point here. So I think this is already a decent way to start with Zamazenta, something that's already like pretty common and proven already. And then after this, you could just go Chien Pao here with Focus Sash here, and then the Rillaboom's gonna have the Assault Vest, of course, and we already did the Flood Rain here, right? So, you know, typical setter, you could just do Icicle Crash. A little bit different than Ice Spinner. I don't want to blow up my own Rillaboom terrain. I think Crash is great. Sucker Punch and then Throat Chop here. So, again, just threatening, you know, stuff like Shadow Rider or even just the Ice Rider too. So sometimes they can play around Sucker Punch here, but if you just have like a natural Dark move, then I think that just helps you a little bit more. And then just straight Protect here. I like forcing those Speed Ties. I'm going to go Ghost here, of course, for the Fake Out stuff. So if it comes down to that, then let's play for it. Let's go Jolly here. You can definitely go Adamant, Chien Pao here, but if it has to come down to it, I'd rather force that Speed Tie, you know, with the base 135s more than anything. This guy, of course, Inner Focus here. So I like Band here. If you like Life Orb, you can definitely do Life Orb Entei. I think that also works. I think we'll show two ideas with Life Orb, and then this one we'll just do Band. But Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, of course, are your two mainstays, followed by Stomping Tantrum. Actually, we can even do like Flare Blitz for a little bit more damage. And then Stomping Tantrum is also like pretty good. I think this is like one variant. If you want to take out Flare Blitz and put something like Stone Edge here, I think Stone Edge is also like pretty good. But sometimes, you know, look at Sacred Fire 100 versus like Flare Blitz 120. Sometimes Sacred Fire doesn't pick up KOs, whereas Flare Blitz does. And then this doesn't miss, right? So if you want to reduce that, I think Flare Blitz Band is also like a good choice here. But if you want Stone Edge, I think that also just works relatively fine. Obviously, Terra Normal here helps you get around the Calyrex, remove your weaknesses, and then Rillaboom here, again with Terra Fire, very common Terra right now. Over 85% of Rillabooms are that Terra right now. Fake Out, Grassy Glide, Wood Hammer, and the U-Turn here, okay? And then the Urshifu here. So Surging Strikes, of course. Now, this move here, depending on you, okay, you can easily just do close combat for your fighting coverage. Otherwise, I have seen people forgo that and just go with Aqua Jet here. So if you're saying, look, I've got Zamazenta for my fighting coverage here, I'd rather just go with something like a priority move with Aqua Jet. You can definitely do that. Otherwise, if you don't like it and you just want close combat instead, that can also just work for you. So, but also the pressure of Aqua Jet with Chien Pao, either with or without it, just is also very, very strong. So if you want to go that way, definitely do that way. Otherwise, you can switch it up and just go with the close combat from the Urshifu here. All right, Flutter Mane here. All right, so Moon Blast. I said Moonball. Moon Blast, Shadow Ball, Icy Wind, and Protect here will be your mainstay. And then just like in terms of EV spreads here, I just want my Flutter Mane to be able to survive the Chien Pao stuff. So let's just go Timid here. And, you know, there's so much Roaring Moon now that I just want to like have enough speed just for that. And outspeed it. So I'm just going to go right here, 140, right? Because they cap out 189, I believe, right? So let's just go to 190 and that should be okay. And then we just go right here with 108, 196, okay? So this way we optimize for the Rillaboom Grassy Terrain, you know, base stat 100 in our defense, and this lets us live the Sucker Punch from the Chien Pao, right? And then after this, you just dump the rest into special attacker. And you know, it's not as strong of a Flutter Mane as others, but oh, by the way, I'm gonna go Terra Grass here, get around Amoongus, but it's still good enough for what we want it to do, right? Just pressure into the Shadow Rider, Icy Wind, speed control, let your other Pokemon outspeed, and then from there just you know, finish things off. The Entei here, I think you always want max speed here, like Adamant, so at least you can speed tie the Chius. Let's just go third bump here with 196. And then 192 mark for the Rillaboom terrain recovery in terms of that solid factor of 16. And from here, you can just even it out here. You can just put 1 point here and then just dump the rest here in SpidF. At least bring this to, again, triple digits and then the last couple points in defense. These were just like leftover EVs at this point. So, you know, just do with it with what you will. But I just wanted to at least round out my stats this way and, you know, be done with the Entei slot here. Now, the Urshifu slot, now we can just go Adamant, but I still think, you know, max speed Adamant is the way to go with our Urshifu also. So I'm just going to do that right here. Okay, and then after this, you can take the Urshifu with however you want. You can make this bulky, or you can, you know, just go 252, 252, or you can invest a little bit more in your bulk and a little bit less in the attack, depending on how you want to do it. Usually that's what the Swords Dance Urshifu does. But the substitute, maybe you want a little bit more HP just to factor in of the reduction that you're going to be getting with the substitute. So to each their own. There's a few ways to think of it like that. All right, but to keep things simple, we'll just go about 177. Instead of 176, we'll go to 177. So this way, when we factor in the sub, we can still click it 4 times, but be left with 1 HP remaining. And then after this, you can go to the third bump here and 236 adamant, and then just round it out with 1 point in your bulk stats like this, right? So if you want a little bit more, then you can do that. You can go to 193 as another thing, or just a little bit more HP if you don't want so much attack, but a little bit more bulk. But this is just something that's relatively simple that you can easily do. All right. So this is like very, oh wait, we almost forgot the Rillaboom. I'm just going to keep using the Rillaboom that I've been using in all my videos. You just outspeed Modest Pelipper by going to 118. 196 again for the third benchmark, 192 HP over here for your grassy terrain recovery. And then after this, you know, just round out your SpDef like this, again going for triple digits in your SpDefs. And this is like a very standard and easy Rillaboom to use. Okay, so this was like the Michaelderbeste 6, you know, back from like the summer. So, you know, it still works even right now. People are still like using this stuff. I just realized that this is Impish. Hold on a second. Wait, let me go back here. Did I put Impish? Yeah, I did. Hold on. Jolly. Hello. This is Impish. Okay, yeah. Dragon, Ghost, Normal, Fire, Stellar, and Grass here. Yeah, so like this is Michael's 6 from like the summer, you know, back in Worlds. But he's been forced now to go with the Amoongus here. And I'll show you why. And it has to do with what we did in our previous video. So we'll do that variant, right? Just to show you and give you, you know, version 2 of this squad. But let's just test out this team and see how it does. All right, so this is a different kind of Ice Rider team that you would normally see. So he's adding the Ninetales here just to not only maybe give the team screens, but also another defense boost into the Ice Rider there. It also boosts Chien Pao a little bit. Chien Pao can also boost Shadow Rider damage too. I think that's a lot of fire weaknesses on this team. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fire weaknesses here. And then you have a King Gambit here. I would never do this, by the way. I don't even hate the Cresselia pick. I just hate that there's 5 weaknesses to fire like this. So you're forced to Terra one of these guys. So if you just play a well-placed Entei into something like this, then you can, you know, put a lot of pressure into even Incin looks pretty good here, but that's also where like King Gambit plays here. But anyway, I digress. So I'm just gonna go Zamazenta here with Entei just to see what he does. And look, he's going with Crest and he's going with the Ninetales here. So we understand this. All right, so he goes for the Royval. That's fine. I just want to click Heavy Sand, maybe force out the Terra here. And then I just go Flare Blitz. See how much damage that does. That's pretty decent damage. And he does get up Trick Room, but where's the Calyrex, right? So I'm not even worried about this. I'm just going to go into Chien Pao here and try and do a little bit more damage, right? There's the Lunar Blessing. I know he's going to try and heal himself. So I'm just going to try and keep pressuring the Cresselia because, again, I know he's clicking Blizzard here, but he can't freeze my Chien Pao, but he does freeze my Zom. But again, there's no Calyrex. So what are we doing with the Trick Room here? You know, you're just healing yourself and then you're just wasting Trick Room turns. So that's why I was like kind of fine with this. So I just click Protect. Already now there's 2 turns left and still there's no Cal. Now there's Gambit here. All right, so now there's Calyrex. So he's trying to take advantage this way. Okay, and now we can just go Ghost Terra here, for example. Now we can just body press the Gambit there. So interesting that he switched into that slot there. Throat Chop comes out there. Decent damage into the Calyrex. 1 turn Trick Room left. Here comes the Ninetales. This is an easy protect on the Zamazenta, as is the Chien Pao here. So this way you stall at the last turn. All right, but finally, look. So the Calyrex is in, but the Trick Room is gone. Okay, and you have no safety against it. There's no even Aurora Veil here. So I think the Ninetales was placed poorly here because now we just do this, right? And then we just body press here, right? He could have also just protected and switched into Cresselia that way. I think protect and pivot is always like a good VGC fundamental play, but he didn't do it. And now he has no choice but to easily forfeit there. But the Chien Pao was already in place now to pressure the Cresselia a little bit, even if he did protect the Calyrex there. So, you know, in that regard, we were still fine because even if the Calyrex gets up Trick Room, I still don't even know how he beats the Zamazenta. The fact that we have the defense boost means that, you know, his Glacial Lances are just not even doing that much damage. And he was chipped a lot already. So that's like one of the struggles with the Ice Rider. Like, yes, you have Trick Room, but can you really pick up KOs given with what's around right now in this meta? So like, again, Wide Guard was really good here. just to make him only click high horsepower, which we easily live. That's not doing that much damage at all. And then Chien Pao is just free to click, stuff here in terms of everything that he has here. So that's like one of the struggles with Ice Rider right now. Just the fact that it didn't even top cut Victory Road says something. We'll speak more about that in another video, of course, soon. But I just wanted to mention that at least for this. All right, so this is another. This is a Kyogre team, right? And I like Arkeladin Tornadus stuff here. I don't think we need Pelipper and Kyogre on the same team, and I also don't think you need the Ludicolo. I understand it, of course, but I just think Serena is so important onto teams like this because Raging Bolt just kind of clicks electric moves like crazy into this. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 weaknesses to electric, right? And there's not really a way to get around it unless you Terra the Kyogre into Terra Grass, right? So you have to keep that in mind here. But anyway, we play it as it is. So I'm just going to go Zama again as another strong lead here with my Urshifu. Does more damage in the rain. Here comes Ludicolo here with the Kyogre. So he's going to have the speed advantage, right? He's going to pressure my Urshifu a little bit. I'm just going to go Terra Dragon here. I'm going to protect the Urshifu first. Icy Wind comes out. That's pretty good into my Zom there. So he wants a little bit of speed advantage there. Brawl Thunder into the Urshifu, right? So we just body press the Ogre. So now no more Water Spout. He has to rely on Origin Pulse per se. He goes into Arc here. I could have also body pressed that slot. But I just want to go Rillaboom here and not lose the Urshifu here. Okay. And we just body press the Ludicolo anyway. And that just gets removed already. So now he can go back into the Ogre. But I don't know if that really helps him. Okay. He goes into Basque Legion here. Terra Fairy is pretty cool. So he's forced to Terra this rather than the Ogre. Makes a lot of sense. Protects the Basque Legion here. Body press still does decent. Well, that's because we crit, right? So now he does get a stamina boost. He actually removes my Zomp. So good play on the Arkeladin there to go Terra Fairy there and outplay me on that particular turn. But now I have Chien Pao here. And now I can actually hit the Arkeladin with the Rillaboom here. So he goes for Aqua Jet. I figured he might try and create that kind of pin there. But I just want to Wood Hammer and get rid of this and just force the Kyogre back in here. Right? Electroshock coming out here. And again, he's -1. So he's just trying his best here. But in reality, he just forfeits because he knows, he can't protect. I think that Kyogre was like AV or something like that. But we have every pin here now. And we still have our Urshifu in the back, right? So we can just smash this thing with Surging Strikes and not care about his defense boost anyway. So all we have to do is just remove the Ogre and let Urshifu clean up in that endgame scenario. Okay, so for this second variant here, again, it's pretty much the same as the first one. The only difference now is, we've seen Michael changed into the Amoongus, right? A little bit more, and get rid of the Urshifu. Sounds weird, getting rid of Urshifu. But the problem here is, not the problem is, but the reason why is because think about what we just posted in the last video. The Dondozo Calyrex teams, and now you're pretty much almost forced to run Clear Smog, okay, to try and remove those buffs. And now at least you get a decent, another decent Trick Room matchup with Rage, with Spore Pressure, right? But I think this is how you have to play it now, just all things considered. But I also think you don't even need Protector. I think you can also go for Pollen Puff here, but I think Protect is just always good. Rocky Helmet is nice, and then we can still go Terra Water just for the ice resistance altogether, right? And then just going our typical route here with 0 speed Amoongus, 236 to optimize. Again, for the Regenerator, hitting the benchmark, the third bump here with the Bulk, survive Icicle Crashes and Glacial Lances, and then dumping the rest into Special Defense here, right? So again, everything else is pretty much the same here. We don't need to make any, real change per se. I think also, you can keep Stomping Tantrum here, and again, you can also go for Stone Edge. I think that's also like pretty good here. So if you want to go that direction, you can just do this and then just be fine with it. But this is just another way of playing the team. So I also think Zamazenta can also stay as it is, right? I'm not even going to change that. But this is the second variant, right, that we can just put on the screen right now real quick. And again, Clear Smog going to be important in removing those buffs. And now you can also click Spore in those Ice Rider matchups. You have to be careful with Miraidon now a little bit more, but you do have Rillaboom and Chien Pao to help you in that sense. So just keep that under discretion. Okay, for the third variant, I think here we can still keep these 4, but now we can also add the Landorus for another Miraidon matchup idea. So I do like the Landorus here. Again, Flying Pivot option. and then the Choice Scarf, right? And then you can just do like Sheer Force stuff. And again, just Sandsear Storm, Earth Power here, and then you can do Sludge Bomb here, pressure Rillabooms and grass types, pressure the Ogre Pawns, and then just straight up U-turn just to pivot out. And then you can also just go Ghost here so you don't get faked out, right? And just go Modest now. You don't even have to go like Timid, you can just go Modest here, and you outspeed Chi, which is also pretty important there. And then after this, you can still go back to the Urshifu idea. So in fact, let me just capture that real quick and then just put it over here, right? You can just do this, and again, just rounding out my stats, you know, with the sub. All right, 236 investment here. So again, this is like variant number 3, where again, now the Landorus, and again, just like a couple special attackers on the team here, right? Now I got Flutter Mane and Landorus. You still have, you know, Zamazenta, Chien Pao, Urshifu, right? That's also like pretty standard. And then these last slots here is always going to be variants like Flutter Mane and or Reaching Bolt. I like Landorus here. Again, just like another good ground coverage that you can have into other Raging Bolts and other Miraidons. And then you can just outspeed them. You can also click Sludge Bomb and outspeed another Flutter Mane if you don't have a booster speed boost. You can fish out for the Terra Fairy on the Calyrex, and then just click Sludge Bomb into that if you can ever get into that position. I think that also makes sense. But this is another way that I would also do it. Okay, so this is like one of the very first Calyrex Ice Rider teams to come out, you know, back in like very, very early Regulation G, back in like April-ish, where you have the Pelipper Ursh idea with Raging Bolt and then the Fake Out guys. But there's no redirection here, so I actually don't even think I need the substitute Urshifu here. I think I just want something like Flutter Mane for like endgame stuff. But Flutter Mane looked really good into a lot of what he has, you know, especially with like Raging Bolt, Urshifu, and then Shadow Ball into the Calyrex here. Zamazenta is going to be okay into like Rillaboom and Instant stuff. And then just my own Urshifu is also pretty good into the rain. It can pressure out the Calyrex too. So I think we can also bring that. But then Chien Pao also looks really good just against everything here. So I think it's just already a must. So I like those 4. So he's going to go with Pelipper Ursh, which is fine. I'm going to go with Zom, and I'm going to go with my own Urshifu. And now my own Ursh does well into the rain. Now we're also going to see ideas here because, again, he is Scarf here. So it's Surging Strikes. I could have easily doubled into the Zom here. And then I just lose it, but then Body Press comes out there. Surging Strikes again. I just want to see the Pelipper damage here, right? So we get it to less than half, which is good. And he goes for the Hurricane into the Urshifu instead rather than the Zamazenta, right? So that's fine. But now we go into Flutter Mane. And look at Flutter Mane's position here. Like really good just because I can outspeed things. He can even... again, I'm just faster, right? Even with this Scarf, it doesn't matter. And then Body Press here. So that crit doesn't matter, of course. It's just Incineroar. So now he's in an interesting spot. No Trick Room, and here comes the Calyrex once again. All right, so he can protect if he wants, but it doesn't stop anything here. And again, remember, I have Chien Pao in the back here. So he protects Pelipper. We force that out, which means no attack comes out from that slot. We Body Press the Calyrex, more than almost half. He gets up Trick Room now. That's okay. But now we click Wide Guard. We force him to click a single attack move, and we live that because he did that, right? So now Weather Ball comes out. Could have killed Flutter Mane. I don't even think he kills Flutter Mane, but because we click Wide Guard and the Calyrex doesn't have a boost, he can't click Glacial Lance. Now I actually misplayed this a little bit. Protect on Flutter Mane is fine, but I should have just went for an attack here rather than Sucker Punch. I have a Sash anyway, but this almost ends up costing me here, right? Because now I can Sucker Punch him, but he's left with 1, so it was just a little bit better to go with the other attack move and then just finish him that way. Because again, I did get crit here. I could have lost, but now I just have Sucker Punch anyway. I think it was just way better to attack first. I had the Sash and then Sucker Punch later. But yeah, so that ends up happening. But that's okay. You know, we still had enough where we still, you know, were able to get enough damage and beat him. I also think Koraidon's in like a pretty good spot right now too, just because again, another good matchup into the Terapagos, and then Cornerstone is really good with it right now. I like his team. And it's like it's from somewhere. It's from like either Liberty Note or like some Japanese player. But I do like this 6. I think it's very, very good. But I still think we have enough tools around it. You just have to be careful. Icy Wind's looking really good in the game. I think this is a game where Flutter Mane has to come just because we can, you know, get the benefit from the Koraidon boost here. So I'm gonna go Chien Pao Rillaboom first just to see what he kind of wants to do here. And I wanted to pressure Cornerstone if he did bring it, but it is speed, effect on the Flutter. He has Protect, so it's not Specs, right? So I wanted to fish for that just in case. Again, this is best of one letter, so I don't even know. Raging Bolt comes out here instead. I could have even Icicle Crashed that. Goes for Terra Fire. It's almost like kind of forced here at this point just because. But there's the Flame Charge. I figured he might try that. And I still wanted to pressure that Flutter slot, so that's why I clicked Wood Hammer there. So that's pretty good damage to Raging Bolt. All right. So now we have to think a little bit further ahead here. He does have Protect there, so that's unfortunate. So he has Protect on both Mons. So that doesn't help me. Goes to the Flame Charge, removes the Rillaboom there. And now the Chien Pao is still here, right? But we still have pressure. But now Zamazenta comes out. All right. So I'm just going to go Terra Dragon to resist. I click Sucker just to try and get around Thunderclap, which I do, which is nice. Because I know he wants to try and get rid of the Chien Pao here. So at least I keep it on the field for another turn and then just body press the Koraidon there. So I thought that was like a key deciding turn there, but it's still not over because the game still continued a little bit more because he brought the demon known as Smeargle. So that's a little bit unfortunate here. All right, I just wanted to get around like Scout, maybe fake out there and then just Draco into that. So and now we just have to figure what else is he gonna click Spore or follow me again. And this is where I had to like play the game a little bit. So I just go into Flutter here. I'd rather give up the Flutter than all things that. So I missed the crash here. And again, I could have also tried to go for the Smeargle there just to press it and kill it because I know there's no Terapagos there. So that's also probably a misplay on my part. Just to not being able to pressure the Smeargle that way and make it harder on myself. So because of that, I have to deal with this, right? So Spadef drop there. Okay, I just want to, get the speed advantage, click Icy Wind and get it this way. Okay, so we break the Sash there and then he spores the Chien Pao there, right? So unfortunately, he does click Taunt there. I think maybe just, so no Protect comes out here. But, we play on. There's the Wide Guard, so he catches me there. And then the Chien Pao, again, goes down here because he does click. I stay asleep and then Moonblast comes out. So I still have to get around this thing, right? But again, I still have the speed advantage, right? And that's the key with Flutter Mane here is the fact that Icy Wind makes it so that I have it for me. So now we click Moonblast. That crit doesn't matter. He was already -2, right? And good Protect there. Otherwise, he just loses the game. But now comes Raging Bolt back here. Again, I did make it this hard on myself, but yeah, I felt like just, again, another Icy Wind here would have been fine. But I thought I could kill the Flutter here right then and now. And I just wanted to protect the Zamazenta here. But I was not expecting the Raging Bolt to live this, right? So Icy Wind comes out. I thought the Flutter would drop, but he actually just lives the body press there, which is amazing, right? So Moonblast comes out, okay? Does click Draco. Probably understands he can't remove the Zam with just one Moonblast, but thankfully it was Life Orb and he dies to it. And now I just win because I have the speed advantage against another Flutter Mane there. But I probably would have took another Shadow Ball from this range just because I have so much bulk too. But yeah, the Smeargle just made things a little bit harder, and I probably shouldn't have switched when I did. But, we still were able to create this endgame scenario where Flutter Mane was the win con and was able to help me win this game. All right, so now let's look at the Japan variant here, where I think we can just keep these three. We'll go Sash Urshifu with Terra Grass now. And the idea now with Terra Grass is it lets you get around Rocket Helmet Amoongus, so this way you don't lose your Sash and you can get around their redirection. But this type of idea just revolves around Tornadus Hyper Offense, and then you have the Chiyu here, okay, along with the Raging Bolt here. So you have some good special attack damaging Pokemon here. The Chiyu is a pretty good matchup into both Calorexes. The Raging Bolt is not bad into Kyogre as well, and it can get, sometimes you can bring it into Miraidon too, depending on what they have. But I think these two are also very good here. And the whole idea with this Tornadus is that this Tornadus is going to have both Sunny Day and Rain Dance. And Japan was really cooking with this, right? So then you have just Tailwind, of course, with the Bleak Wind as your other lone attack move here. And the idea is that you can change weather to like help your Urshifu do more damage, or change weather and help your Chiyu and your Raging Bolt do more damage, because more damage in the sun, with your fire attacks, and then you activate Photosynthesis. So I think this idea was pretty good. And then you just go Terra Normal here just to get around the Calyrex, with the Astral Barrage spam. But now what you can do is just go Terra Ghost here, and let's go with the Choice Specs. So this way we don't necessarily need the Scarf because we have Tailwind on our team now. And then you can just go Heat Wave, Overheat, All right, Snarl and then Dark Pulse. And then now you can still go 252, 252. On this, you can go Modest still, or you can even technically go Timid if you still want. The Raging Bolt here, we can go Life Orb. So now we can get the benefit of Photosynthesis and Life Orb damage. I still think we go Modest, but we go Modest max speed just to like surprise the opponent a little bit. And then just go 209 just to optimize for your Life Orb chip. Third bump here into the special attack. And then just dump the rest here into special defense and defenses, right? So Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, of course, your priority move. Draco Meteor, your Dragon Stab, and then just straight up Protect here. Terra Fairy for, again, the Dragon weakness. And, you know, just a defensive Terra. You can technically also go Terra Electric for a little bit more damage, right? Otherwise, you can also just stay with the Terra Fairy here for... you know, the dragon resist here. But I like max speed Raging Bolt here, especially with the Life Orb idea with Protect, just to surprise the opponent here. All right, and then for the Tornadus, I still want like some damage here, so I just go Modest 36 with max HP just to have some bulk, you know, with the Covert Cloak set. Then you can just go about 212 investment here, 158, outspeed the base 90s like Kyogre, for example. And then that's really all I need out of my Tornadus here. And then that's it. You know, this is like variant number 3, actually variant number 4, where you have this hyper offensive mode. So I like this one just because it's a little bit different, but to each their own, of course. But yeah, let's just try this one out and see how this one feels. All right, this guy's using Dondozo Miraidon. I don't think Dondozo fits on these type of Miraidon teams, especially not this one. It looks like it's almost 2-2-2, right? Where you have like Miraidon and Iron Bundle, Dragonite, Chien Pao, then just Dondozo, Tatsugiri. I don't think that looks interesting, but I do like Rillaboom here. I think Rillaboom looks even better than normal just because of what he has there. Like, again, just Fake Out and Terrain and Grassy Glide into, you know, or even Wood Hammers into Iron Bundle and the Dondozo. I also think Zamazenta looks pretty good here, of course, as a restricted. Raging Bolt too, just because he gives me Terrain and I can click, you know, electric moves, all things considered. So I do like what I have here. So he's going to go with D-Knight and he's going to go with Miraidon. Double Dragon lead. I'm very surprised about that. So I'm just going to go Tornadus and Raging Bolt here, just in case he had the Iron Bundle. I wanted to just keep up with the speed. So he can only Terra 1, and I don't think he wants to not Terra the Miraidon here. So I just take out the Dragonite. That could be annoying later, so I'd rather just do that and maybe even force the Fairy out of the Miraidon that way, but he didn't. So he lets me take the Dragonite, and now I go Zamazenta, and there's Iron Bundle here. So I you know, again, my damage is reduced here. I just want to switch out here. He goes back into Miraidon here. So again, this tells me that he does not have the Tatsugiri just because he did this. So I just want to get some chip there. All right, Order Up comes out. You know, I get to resist that. Not really resist, but it doesn't do any damage here. So he goes into Iron Bundle here. So this is just an easy Fake Out and then Body Press just because I know that he can't do it. All right, and if he Terra Fairy then again, I just win with Heavy Slam. So there's another Wave Crash. Again, we resist that because we have the defense. And now he's just stuck here with Miraidon and he has Specs. So that's it. That's fine, you know, and then into one more Tailwind turn. I just go back into Raging Bolt here. There's the Terra Fairy. I could have easily just clicked Wood Hammer and then just Heavy Slam calling it, right? You know, just because. But again, this is still like okay. Another Wave Crash. But again, now we have Terrain on our side. And I know he Specs too. So this is just an easy Fake Out Heavy Slam, right? And, you know, he doesn't really have anything. He Specs, he's locked. All right, there's the pin. And Dondozo, again, with the Wave Crash. Even a crit, I don't think would have even picked up there. But I just have to remove the Dondozo first. He's getting a lot of recovery here. He could have also clicked Protect here. So, again, I could have just went into the Miraidon right here and just Wood Hammer that. I went into Dondozo. I don't think that's correct. I think he could have just protected there. But, you know, again, just removing Miraidon would have been okay. Probably better in my opinion. But now we just do this and, you know, now it's over. So if he protects there, I think he makes things a little bit more interesting. But he is locked into D-Gleam, which Rillaboom does not die to anyway. I think because I have the AV, there's no terrain for him. So, yeah, I don't think either way. But, you know, you never know. So I think looking back on that, I probably would just switched up my attack order there a little bit too. Okay, so for this last variant here, I want to bring back the Iron Jugulis build from Ryan from the World Championships. So this is what he was doing. So Zamazenta here with Terra Grass. again, getting around Amoongus. So that was pretty cool. Life Orb Entei with Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Stomping Tantrum, Terra Normal still. And again, just same thing, like max speed, hit the third bump, just re-optimize this a little bit. But again, just as much HP as I can, just because, and you can also just drop this a little bit and then just go almost max here, just all things considered. And then the Chien Pao here, I still go Jolly here, but now because I don't have Rillaboom anymore, I can go with Ice Spinner and just pop Terrain, and then Sucker Punch and Sacred Sword come out here because I don't need the Dark move per se, because I have a Dark type now in Iron Jugulis. Amoongus can come back here with Clear Smog again, just to wipe away Dondozo stuff if I have to. But the Iron Jugulis here with 169 speed, again, even without booster, that's just for the Landorus, where I can outspeed that and just go for Snarls, or just again dumping the rest here into special attack, and then a little bit of bulk here. I thought that was okay here. Otherwise, you can just do this and take away some bulk, and then just max your special attack like this, just so that you can get a little bit more value out of your Iron Jugulis, and then just do something like this, where you can just dump the rest here into HP. I think this was like okay. Otherwise, just Raging Bolt here again with the AV, with the Electro Web set. So with 112 investment, under Tailwind, you outspeed the Shadow Rider, and then you can potentially slow it down and chip it with Electro Web, or even just try and pick up a KO with, just Thunderclaps or Thunderbolts, with Terra Electric here. And then, just with the AV, I just wanted the nice solid even number set here with 188 investment. This is for Rillaboom Terrain Recovery, and then at least you can live 1 Earth Power from a Blood Moon or Saluna, so that's good too. You lose the damage calc for Chien Pao, but that's still okay. I'm fine with that. I still have like all this bulk here with the Assault Vest, so that's really all I wanted with this 6, just in terms of what Brian was trying to do. I do like Iron Jugulis on a team like this. I like Zamazenta with like this dark flying type here. Otherwise, you can consider Galarian Moltres there, but I still like this idea, with the Jugulis there. So let me show you a couple games with this. So he's got a Calyrex team here with Landorus and Whimsicott. So he's got Serperior there. I don't know what that's supposed to do, but maybe it's screens, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like something for instant. I have no idea. But Jugulis does look pretty good here. As long as I also can outpace their Whimsicott here, which he does have. So here's Iron Jugulis here with my Zamazenta. So now we can pressure too. And we have the Terra Grass option, which is great against Landorus too, right? So I just want to protect just to see what he might do here. Goes for Tailwind rather than the Moonblast. So I just want to Snarl and see what he's got, okay? And it actually just was like a Tailwind and just Earth Power into Might, right? So he goes back into Incin, but again, this doesn't matter because I'm clicking Body Presses here. It does Encore, which is again relatively annoying. So I go for my own Tailwind, right? So I just want to stagger our Tailwinds here. So I just go into Entei here, right? And then just protect the Iron Jugulis just in case he does go for the Moonblast / Fake Out, right? So this is fine by us, right? So I just need to get this Whimsicott out of here. So I'm going to go back into Zam, right? I'm going to take that Moonblast. That's okay. And now I will just blow up the Whimsicott with a Sacred Fire here, right? So even if the instant does go for his little parting shot, that's okay. I can just always reposition later. He goes into Landorus again. So last turn of his Tailwind, right, which is gone. But now I have Tailwind on my side, so he can just double protect here if he wants. But I'm going to go into Jugulis just to try and get that advantage back. He does protect Calyrex. I did this just in case he did go for the Astro Barrage play. We do get the burn. Okay. There's the Earth Power there. So I could have also maybe just saved the Terra, but I figured, does he protect on that slot or the other one? Who knows? I think he just was more incentivized in protecting Calyrex there. But this is where we brought in Chien Pao to pressure both slots. So he's forced out. So that means Snarl just picks up the Landorus here. All right, the Instant takes some chip, and then the Calyrex comes back in here. He does have Protect here, but again, double Protect is already like pretty solid here. He goes Terra Fairy. We forced that out, so that's good. And we still have Zamazenta later for the end game. So that's exactly what we wanted to do. We had the Dark Pressure to force this Terra. These Calm Minds don't matter, just because, again, we have the Heavy Slam Pressure, right? So he does go for Draining Kiss. He picks up the KO there. We did get a lucky crit down the Instant, but that still would not have mattered just because we are faster than Instant anyway. He protects, but again, Heavy Slam always picks up, so it doesn't really matter what he does here. He doesn't have enough to try and pick up the Zom with this Draining Kiss. Like even +2 Terra Fairy is not enough, right? So again, just heavy slam, and there it is, right? So, you know, we could have used Chien Pao to remove the instant anyway, and then Zamazenta still has the pin on the Calyrex Shadow Rider, so that still wouldn't have mattered. Okay, well, we'll end it right here. So this one is a Zacian team here with Regidrago, Tornadus, and now he's actually opting for the Chien Pao over something like Chiyu, which I do respect. I think Chien Pao Urshifu with this type of team here is actually pretty nice. And he's got Rillaboom here, so it actually makes sense, you know, with what he's trying to do. I don't know what he does in Trick Room, though. I think maybe there's substitute on that Zacian, you know, to help him get around that. But I do like Zamazenta's matchup into a lot of what he has here, you know, and we have a lot of pieces for everything else, right? I think Entei also looks really good. So I'm going to go Entei Amoongus just to, you know, see what he has here. All right, and just pressure his Zacian right off the rip if he does lead with it. And the easy protect there, of course, you know, I still want to pressure the slot anyway. But he does miss the bleed. He actually misses 2 Bleak Winds. So there's the joy of Tornadus, right? So now it comes into Chien Pao there. If I just, you know, get him with the Sacred Fire and burn, then he loses the Chien Pao. I want to just put this Torn to sleep. All right, there's another Bleak Wind. And there it is. There we get the sleep here. So no burn on the Chien Pao, but that's okay. I'm going to go into Zam now, you know, just to get my Amoongus healthy again and provide redirection support later. And then just E-speed this Chien Pao when we, all things considered. Okay. And now here comes Regidrago, right? So if he wakes up now, great. But I also have Wide Guard here, but I do body press and he goes Terapagos there. Very good play from the Regidrago just to like dodge that. And, you know, unexpected, but there's the Dragon Energy. Does some damage, right? But Zamazenta eats it. Now we have Chien Pao with Sucker Punch Pressure, right? He does protect there, but in reality, it doesn't really do anything because, again, I can outspeed the Tornadus here. He didn't even go for the Tailwind, right? So I thought that was a little mistake there because now he could have easily pressured. But again, doesn't matter because we have Sucker Punch. Just take out the Drago here. Behemoth Blade. Again, the Tailwind would not have mattered just because I had Sucker Punch. And then now we just body press the Zacian. That crit also doesn't matter. I still have Amoongus later. I could just redirect the Zacian and just finish the game off with Chien Pao there. So yeah, again, just you know, Amoongus created that space that I needed because again, it just neutralized the slot altogether. And Chien Pao also just very solid into everything that he had there too. All right, just to go over all 5 variants here. So here's variant number 1. This is the original Michael 6. You know, with just Chien Pao, Entei, good stuff here with Rillaboom Ursh, Flutter Mane supporting with Icy Wind, and another special attacker onto the team here. Then after that, then we have this one where we have the Scarf Landorus idea with Urshifu Goggles, substitute stuff. I think Landorus is also pretty good with Zamazenta. Then we have this idea where we still take the Michael 6, but again, you just add Amoongus for clear smog pressure, you know, for the Dondozo teams now that are running around. This one is the hyper offensive route with Tornadus, Chiyu, Raging Bolt. This is the Japan variant, right? I think this is also pretty good as well. And then this one is the Iron Jugulis idea with Raging Bolt here, you know, just giving Tailwind support, just like Tornadus, but you have Snarl for the Calyrex matchup. You still have Entei, Chien Pao stuff, and then Amoongus for your Trick Room matchup and your Clear Smog ideas at the same time. So I think all 5 are pretty solid. So, you know, just give them a go. Let us know how you do. Otherwise, if you need help building your own teams and you need some assistance, feel free to sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 sub gets you a Discord call with me. And then we can build the team from scratch. If you need something for a local, if you need something for upcoming regionals in January, whether it be San Antonio or, you know, I think there's one in the UK as well. If you need something for that, we can help you. Otherwise, if you need something for online ladder tournaments, same thing, we can help you build a squad. But either way, tier 3 sub is going to help you with that. So look in the pinned comment section or in the video description, join the channel with that link. And then even then, you can just join the Discord for free. You don't need to pay for that. And then just, you know, message me or just bond with the other members of our community, right? We've done a good job building that in 2024. So we hope to keep that going in 2025. But anyway, hopefully you like the Zamazenta teams. Yeah, we'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a happy new year, guys.